Hi, Cameron.
Hi.
Thank you so much for having this video interview with me. So today, I would like to ask you some questions about your experience with study abroad.
Mm-hmm.
And I just found out that you just recently added the business minor.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like to ask you some questions about these things,
Yeah.
right? So what university did you attend, and how long?
I went to University of Nanzan in Japan since the summer of last year, which was 2016,
Mhm.
until right up to the end of 2016. So summer and the fall semester.
Fall. And Nanzan already has an exchange relationship with USC.
Yeah, it's
Right?
a newer one. Yeah.
So what are some of the courses you took at Nanzan?
I took just a basic Japanese culture course.
Mhm.
I took a sort of Japanese like economics sort of kind of worldview type course.
Mhm.
And then obviously the Japanese language courses as well.
Mhm.
And then over the summer I took a literature course there, and I think just a standard history course,
Mhm.
and finally a translation course.
Okay, so that's a lot of courses.
Mhm.
And how did you find those courses to be applicable to your degree program at UC? Did they really easily transfer to your
The
coursework
credits,
here?
yeah.
Yeah, and applicable to your degree?
Yeah, I mean, Asian studies is, pretty much all encompassing, and especially for obviously Japan fits right in there. So
Mhm.
most of the classes I took were able to transfer over. Some humanities and like sort of history also was sort of in there. And then obviously you need language requirements as well.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So how did you find the classroom atmosphere in Japan? Was it really a lot different than the classroom atmosphere that you're used to at UC, or did you find them to be more or less similar?
It was fairly similar. I had a few different teachers, so it really depended on the teacher.
Yeah.
I had one teacher who was like a lot more sillier, and he's kind of more outgoing guy. But there was also times where he had that sort of conducted the classroom in that way, but then there's also times where you could tell that he was a little bit more serious, and he wanted to kind of get things done. So kind of a similar vibe is here.
Did you work with mostly Japanese professors, or?
Two of my classes, the ones I took in the summer, extracurricular ones, were both taught by Americans.
Okay.
And then all of the rest of the classes were taught by Japanese natives.
Okay, so that's kind of more immersion style of our program. The next question I have is, what was the most rewarding part of the study abroad experience? What was the most challenging part?
The most rewarding part was probably being able to like freely speak to people and being able to like converse in a way and like have to use Japanese.
Yeah, you have no choice.
Yeah, like at Nanzan there's a place called like the Japan Plaza inside their facility, and you have to speak Japanese in there. Like there's no other language you can speak. And so me and my friends would go there every day. And at first I didn't really have the confidence to speak Japanese. I'd only taken it for about 2 years.
Okay.
And so my other friends actually spoke a lot, so I just kind of sat there and watched for a while and listened. And they all ended up going home that was the summer semester.
Okay.
And so I was still there for the fall. So then I had my Japanese friends, and my other friends all left, so it was just me. So then that's kind of where I took that opportunity to just like I had to speak to like my friends. And so that was like the most rewarding thing, was just being able to find people to talk to and being able to like
practice your Japanese. Yeah.
The most difficult thing was probably just there was some like procedures and like things that you don't think about when you're in Japan. Things that you try to think about everything possible, like you make sure you're not doing this or that, because it's different culturally. But there's still some things that are just like body language specifically in Japan is like Japanese people, like we did like a thing in class where we talked about like what's like appropriate body language, what Japanese people think, and then like everyone from like all different countries. And it's pretty drastically different a lot of the times. Like there's a lot like crossing your arms or something, like a lot of times like Japanese people have told me that they think that that's more like you're like upset with them, and like I have like a really lazy demeanor, and so a lot of times like I might look like I'm bored or like not having fun with the conversation, but really I'm just like relaxing and talking. So like kind of understanding that and getting used to that was definitely something that was
those
helpful.
are pretty subtle cultural differences. Yeah, so those are kind of difficult to really kind of understand. And did you find it easy to make friends? I mean, I'm sure there are lots of study abroad students in Nanzan, and there are also local students, obviously. And did you find it relatively easy to meet people and be friends with them? Or did it take some time?
As far as foreign students go, it was fairly easy. We had a dorm. Yeah, we had a dorm. We all played games in the dorm, and so like you just jump in. For Japanese students, it was relatively easier than I thought it would be. With the Japan Plaza thing we had there, we would just go and there would be at least TAs there, always there for us to like talk to. And then there was also once a week Japanese students would volunteer to come to each class and like speak on like a topic. Like we would converse on a topic, so that way we would sort of like exchange like messaging information, stuff like that.
Excellent. And also, I want to ask you, how difficult was it to have the credits transferred to UC?
Not too difficult, really. It's pretty like basic to kind of get them set up, and like here you have to have your advisor sign off on like a course, what courses you're taking. But more often than not, I feel like people change what course they end up taking when they're abroad.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So like, you know, maybe they're not even offering that semester and you picked it. So there was, in the summer, there was another person from this school studying abroad as well at Nanzan. And they were taking the same courses as me, but their advisor gave them more credits than me. So actually someone at Nanzan actually like contacted me and was like, this person's getting more credits on their sheet. So I was like, oh. So there's definitely like some discrepancies and some like issues with that, but it's pretty easily resolved and it's not really a problem.
It's pretty straightforward. Okay, excellent. And in what ways do you expect the study abroad experience to benefit your career in the future?
Really, just knowing how I would like to work either in Japan or with a Japanese company, and so knowing a little bit more about the Japanese like culture, and my language skill has increased much more than I think it would have had I not studied abroad.
Right, of course, yeah.
So, I mean, I think I think if I didn't study abroad, there would be no chance for me.
You're at level, I mean, the fourth year or third year?
Fourth year.
Fourth year, that's great, yeah. Yeah, definitely the sort of, not just the language fluency, but familiarity with culture would definitely benefit you if you wanted to work in Japan or with a Japanese company. Yeah, that's great. So my final question is, what would you say to students who are thinking about studying in Japan?
I would say if they're serious about learning the language, it's obviously it's like one of the hardest languages for English speakers to learn, and vice versa. Japanese people have a really tough time speaking English. Well, your English is fantastic, but I think if you really are serious about learning Japanese and it's really something you want to pursue, I honestly don't think there's a choice other than study abroad. I think you actually have to study abroad.
There's no better way, right?
Yeah, I would say a year is optimal. Like I went for about 7 months last year and then 6 months this year.
Okay.
So, but I think in order to just sort of get a feel for how the culture feels, how the language just feels in general when people are talking around you, I honestly don't think it's possible to learn Japanese without studying abroad.
Right.
It's very difficult.
You went for 1 semester, you stayed for 1 more semester, you came back and you're going back. So it would be like a total of 13 months, just about?
It was about, I think a 5-month fall semester and then about a month and a half for summer.
Okay.
And it's about a year's worth of time.
I see. I mean, that's pretty substantial. And I'm sure you like Nanzan, so you're going back. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, well, excellent. So, any other sort of thoughts that you want to share with us?
Nothing in particular. I guess if like I wasted a lot of time when I was studying abroad.
Too much
Like I
time.
said before, I would go to the Japan Plaza every day with my
Okay.
friends, but I didn't speak a whole lot,
Oh, okay.
and so like I wasted a lot of lost time there. But I do feel like I was still engaged in like learning and like listening to people speak and like
Yeah,
this is how you would
even
say
that's
this.
helpful.
And so like I had a little bit of extra time to sort of get adjusted and like kind of come out of my shell in that regard. But if you don't have that much time, like if you're only there for one semester, you you have to speak and you have to talk to
Yeah,
people or
you have
else
to
it's
be
just a
kind of
waste.
outgoing.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for
Mhm.
your time. I'm sure this is really valuable information for prospective students. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Thank you.
Thank you.